performance exceeds all expectations and is something that's hard to put into words. How they
Well, millennials spend more than $13 billion a year on consumer goods, and the epic fail of the infamous FYRE Festival is the definition of how marketing to millennials work if you paint the picture right. Let's welcome customer service expert John Bardawill on the secrets to marketing to millennials. Apparently, you just have to Instagram.
We shouldn't giggle because that was a disaster. But we need to talk about how we just said back in the day it was traditional forms of media, whether it be radio, television, newspaper, magazine, and, you know, supermodels, soccer stars. Now it's all about these 20-somethings. So how is FOMO, or fear of missing out, affecting strategy when it comes to advertising and marketing?
Well, millennials are looking for experiences, and you know, one of the best ways to get experiences is through social media and finding out about them. So they do that, and you create a great event, and the millennials want to be there. And so that whole fear of missing out is all about, wow, what a great experience, I've got to be there. And that's really what's driving it.
But did we not have that before? I guess we didn't have it as fast, though, right?
I think before we had...
And we didn't have filters.
We're a product environment. You know, we buy products, and services were part of that. But we've really changed into a real service economy. And so if you want a service, you've got a number of choices in terms of where you're going to get it. And then as a result, you've got options. And those options are so many. So how do you distinguish those options? Well, who can have a better experience? Who can identify that better experience? I want to be part of that. And then what you can do is you can promote it on your own Instagram account or whatever the case is and say, hey, look what I've just done.
Listen, Kylie Jenner, self-made billionaire with a B in her 20s because all she did was use her social media influence to sell direct online. And look at what she's amassed an empire. Gigi Hadid. We see Kim Kardashian. And listen, even when it comes down to the Bachelor franchise or Real Housewives franchise, these are women in their 40s, 50s. They are selling the same old, you know, the teas for a flat tummy or chew on this vitamin to get gorgeous hair. So here's what I don't get. You see them do it time and time again. And we know that the audience is savvy. Yet are they still buying in, or do they know they're being manipulated? Because you see it happen one after another for the same product. It's transparent, #ad. So how is that still effective? Because it is a very savvy audience.
Well, I think you have to go back to the relationship between influencers and followers. If you think about it, you know, over the years, what's happened is Instagram, for example, was a social venue. It was a way to socialize with famous people or people you admired, etc. So what's happened is over time, as it's gotten bigger and bigger, people have started to think about it a little bit and say, maybe, maybe not. I don't like what they said on this. I don't like what they said about this. But I still overall admire this person, or I want to follow this person. I want to know what they're doing. You know, Instagram is really, you know, it's gossip on steroids. I get to know so much about a famous person. You know, you think about the days where we used to sign autographs and get an autograph. We'd be so excited about that. Now you can go on Instagram and follow someone and know who they're dating, what they're eating, what they're wearing, and what they did last night.
And it does boil down, in a way, to trust, though.
Yeah.
For these influencers, you have to believe them. And if you know them well enough and you get to know what they like, you'll find your way.
Or is it? Do you think, look what we're looking at right now, do you think Kim Kardashian really takes those? Do you think Kylie Jenner really? Or are those people that do believe it? That's obviously it's working because they keep getting accounts. So are people becoming more jaded, or is this still a very effective form of advertising?
Well, I think if you've got millions of followers, it's going to have some people that are going to be a little bit jaded by it, and other people are going to say, this is great because I like that, following that person for other reasons. It's not necessarily because they're selling or promoting a product.
So what are the pitfalls to us as the consumer or the person looking? Like, are people overspending for this aspirational lifestyle beyond their means?
I don't know if they're overspending. They may be in some cases. I think really what's happening, though, is that as we've moved from this social activism channel to a business channel, you know, Instagram, for example, I think people have to become more aware that they may be promoting a product because they're being paid for it, not because they just believe in that product. So I think we are becoming a little more jaded, and I think we have to evaluate whether or not that makes sense.
And how does this affect advertising towards non-millennials, older people? Anybody, what, plus 35? Is that a millennial now? I think it's 35.
Yeah, but 35, yes.
Yeah. Or does advertising even care?
I think there's different types of advertising now. I think that you know, we used to be in what we refer to as a push advertising model, where you would push advertising of products to an end user, and the end user would say, great, love it, or not. I think with the millennials, it's really about that experience, and so millennials do their own research. They have this massive capability to look anywhere in the world, investigate, and then at the end of the day say, I choose that or I choose not. But from a company standpoint, you've got to do both. You've got to do some push advertising for the older generation, and you've got to do what we call pull advertising for that millennial generation.
Well, and buyer beware, or clicker beware, clickbait, because when you see something like the FYRE Festival, all the social media influencers who did their part of the job, people can't fault them because they were going in thinking everything would turn out great. This would be an epic new festival. Well, it didn't. But that's the organizer's fault. It's not the people going in who signed the contract to get their cash. Unfortunately, it ended the way it did, but it just reminds us you got to do your research and be careful. Careful what you buy into.
Absolutely. But in fairness, they did such a great job of the marketing from a social media standpoint that it was even experienced Instagrammers just sort of got caught up in it. And again, the FOMO hit them, and that was all it took.
Yeah. Well, for more information, make sure you head on over to breakfasttelevision.ca to connect with John. Visit tmginternationalinc.com. What do you think of IKEA Valentine's Day?
Sure.
Way to go. He's a good man right there.
On that note,
$35.
we'll head upstairs.
Dinner for
We're
two.
going, dear.
Now.
Thank you.